At a family dinner, I saw my mother-in-law slip something into my glass of juice. I quietly switched glasses with my husband, and 5 minutes later. But before we begin, I'd like to ask you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and enjoy the story. The phone vibrated in her pocket, and Marina knew without even looking. It was her mom. She always called at the same time, around 7 in the evening, when she finished fussing around the kitchen and sat down to rest in front of the TV. "Sweetheart, you didn't forget, did you? Sunday is your dad's birthday. 60 years, after all." Her mom's voice sounded both excited and anxious. "Are you coming? Are you both coming?" Plural. Which meant she meant Greg too. And where Greg was, the shadow of his mother Evelyn always appeared. A woman whose mere mention made Marina's fists clench involuntarily. "Of course, Mom. We'll definitely come." "That's wonderful. I've already planned everything. Your dad loves it when the whole family gathers. You know he's not a big fan of loud parties, but family is different." Family. Marina hung up and looked out the window. A September sunset was burning out behind the glass, painting the sky in crimson shades. Beautiful. But for some reason that beauty sparked a sense of unease, as if it were foreshadowing something dark. 8 years. 8 long years she had been married to Greg. And every one of those years, like a shadow hanging over their relationship, stood his mother. Not just standing, interfering, controlling, poisoning. Marina wasn't the kind of woman who quietly puts up with humiliation. She grew up in a simple but solid family, where she was taught one core principle: respect yourself, and others will respect you. Her father, Robert, had worked as a machine operator his whole life. Her mother, Diane, was a nurse at a local clinic. People without big ambitions, but with strong values and good hearts. Marina, her dad used to say when she was a teenager, "Remember this, no one has the right to put you down. Not your boss, not your husband. No one. You're a person, that's all there is to it." She remembered. And she followed that rule all her life. At work she could easily put a rude client in their place. With friends she never let anyone manipulate her. But with her mother-in-law, things were different. Because between them stood Greg. A man she loved. A man she was willing to do a lot for, but not everything. Their story began 9 years ago, on the most ordinary Tuesday. At that time Marina worked as a senior administrator in a private dental clinic called Dental Plus. The job wasn't hard, but it was stressful. Constantly dissatisfied patients, picky doctors, endless calls, and scheduling. But the salary was stable, and the hours were good. Greg came in with severe pain. His wisdom tooth had decided to remind him of its existence at the worst possible moment, right before an important business trip. Marina was filling out his chart and noticed how he winced, pressing his hand to his cheek. "Does it hurt a lot?" she asked, trying to keep her tone professional instead of sympathetic. "It's manageable." He tried to smile, but it looked more like a grimace. "Okay, I'm lying. It's unbearable. Dr. Patterson is excellent. He'll take care of it quickly and almost painlessly." Almost, he raised an eyebrow. "Well, in dentistry there's no such thing as completely painless." Marina allowed herself a small smile. He left an hour later, no longer in pain, but with her phone number. She didn't even understand how it happened. He asked, she answered, and it all just happened naturally. The first months of their relationship were like a fairy tale. Greg was a gentleman. Flowers, restaurants, romantic walks through evening Chicago. He worked as a department manager in a large IT company, earned well, drove a brand new Camry, and rented an apartment in a nice neighborhood. By Marina's standards, a dream boyfriend. "Does he love you?" her mom asked on the phone. "I think so." "Think or know?" "I know, Mom. He tells me every day." Telling is good. But words are just words. Look at his actions. Greg's actions were just as impressive. He cared for her, helped her, supported her. When Marina came down with a bad flu, he visited every day after work, bringing medication and chicken soup. When she had issues with her boss, he listened patiently and gave advice. When she confessed she dreamed of getting a college degree, he immediately offered to pay for her part-time studies. A perfect man? Almost. If not for one thing. His mother. Marina learned about Evelyn in the third month of dating. No, Greg had mentioned her before, but briefly, casually. Mom called. I'll stop by Mom's. Mom asked me to tell you something. Marina didn't give it much thought. Everyone has parents. But then Greg said, I want you to meet my mom. She's really asking. Asking? Marina was surprised. She knows about me? Of course. I've told her everything. And what does she say? Greg hesitated. Just for a split second, but Marina noticed. She says she wants to meet you. To see the woman who has captured her son. The word captured sounded strange. Not fell in love with, not made happy, but captured. As if Marina were a conqueror and Greg a fortress she stormed. They met on a Sunday, at the family apartment on Michigan Avenue. Greg picked Marina up, and she was nervous the whole way. Silly, of course. She was a grown woman, what was there to fear? The apartment stunned her the moment she walked in. Huge, 5 rooms, high ceilings with molding. Antique furniture, crystal chandeliers, heavy framed paintings. Marina grew up in a modest 2-bedroom in Springfield and had only seen such luxury in movies. Do you like it? Greg asked when he caught her staring. It's impressive. This was my grandmother's place. Mom adores it. She watches every detail. Evelyn emerged from the living room to greet them. Tall, elegant, around 55, with perfectly styled hair, a chic dress, and a pearl necklace. She looked at Marina the way people in an upscale boutique look at an expensive item evaluating whether it's worth buying. So that's what you look like, she said instead of hello. Greg has told me so much about you. I thought you would be a stunning beauty. Marina froze. Was that a compliment or an insult wrapped in politeness? Marina is very beautiful, Greg said. Beautiful, beautiful, Evelyn agreed in a tone that meant, if you say so. Come in, lunch is getting cold. At the table, Evelyn interrogated Marina like a detective. Where she was born, where she grew up, who her parents were, where she studied, where she worked. Each answer was met with a lifted eyebrow or a tight press of the lips. So your father is a factory worker? I see. And your mother is a nurse? I see. So no one in your family has a college degree? I have a vocational degree, Marina answered, feeling irritation boil inside her. And I plan to enroll in part-time college. Plan? Evelyn smiled condescendingly. Well, plans are nice. As long as they come true. They will. Marina met her gaze. I always get what I work for. For a moment, something like surprise flickered in Evelyn's eyes. She hadn't expected resistance. But she recovered quickly and changed the subject. After lunch, Greg stepped out onto the balcony, leaving Marina alone with his mother. Evelyn poured tea from an expensive porcelain set, her movements polished and graceful. Marina, she began, without lifting her eyes, I can see you're not a fool. So I'll say this plainly. Greg is my only son. I raised him alone, without a father, and put everything I had into him. He is my life, my pride, my everything. And I'm not going to let just anyone take him away from me. I'm not taking anyone away from anyone, Marina replied calmly. I just want to be with the man I love. Love? Evelyn finally looked up. Her eyes were cold, snake-like. Girl, don't make me laugh. What love? You saw a successful man and decided you hit the jackpot. That's not love. That's calculation. Marina slowly set the cup down. Her hands weren't shaking, she was proud of that. You don't know me, she said evenly. And you have no right to judge me. I love your son. I love him, not his money, not his apartment, not his car. If you can't understand that, I'm sorry for you. Sorry? Evelyn raised an eyebrow. For me? You'll regret those words, dear. At that moment Greg returned, and the conversation ended. But Marina remembered that look, those words. She remembered and understood. Evelyn had declared war. At the wedding, the mother-in-law showed up in a black dress. Not a morning dress, but black, elegant, expensive. Still, the message was clear. For her, this day wasn't a celebration, it was a funeral. A funeral for the hope that her son would remain hers alone. Why is your mom wearing black? It's her favorite color, Greg shrugged. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. A phrase she would hear many, many times every time she tried to draw her husband's attention to his mother's behavior. The wedding itself was modest. Marina insisted. 50 guests in a cozy restaurant on the outskirts of Chicago. Live music, a simple but delicious menu. Evelyn sat the whole evening with a stone-cold expression. She didn't dance, barely spoke. Responded to congratulations through clenched teeth. Congratulations, she told Marina when the guests left. You got what you wanted, my son. But remember, Greg is mine. He was mine, and he'll stay mine. And you. You're temporary. Temporary? Marina scoffed. We just got married. That's supposed to be forever. Forever? Evelyn laughed a dry, unpleasant laugh. Girl, you're naive. Let's see how long your forever lasts. That was 8 years ago. 8 years of Cold War, petty cruelty, constant jabs. The first year of marriage was relatively calm. The newlyweds lived in a rented apartment. Evelyn came rarely, she didn't want to lower herself to visit that shoebox, as she called it. But even those rare visits were unforgettable. She came without warning, using the keys Greg had given her just in case. She would walk in, look around like a health inspector, and start criticizing. What are those curtains? Where did you even find them? A thrift store. There's dust on the shelves. Marina, do you ever clean? Greg, sweetheart, you've lost weight. Is she not feeding you? Marina didn't stay silent. She wasn't the kind of woman who swallowed insults. But she answered calmly, trying not to start a fight. We like these curtains. And Greg lost weight because he started going to the gym. Evelyn only tightened her lips and shot her daughter-in-law cold, disdainful looks. You're too bold, she said once. Greg doesn't like that. Greg loves me the way I am, Marina replied. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. Evelyn went pale with anger, but held back. Clearly, she hadn't expected pushback. But the real war began later, when Marina got pregnant. It happened in their second year of marriage. She and Greg were happy, or thought they were. They planned the future, picked names, dreamed of raising their child together. Evelyn's reaction to the pregnancy was strange. She didn't congratulate them, didn't smile, just said, I hope the baby takes after Greg and not. She trailed off meaningfully. Marina understood exactly what she meant, but stayed silent. For the baby. Then the tragedy happened. A miscarriage at 8 weeks. The doctor said, it happens, especially with a first pregnancy. The body didn't cope. Nothing serious, you can try again. Marina was lying in the hospital when Evelyn came. Alone, without Greg. He was at an important meeting and couldn't get away. The mother-in-law sat down next to the bed. Her face looked pleased? No, not exactly. More like satisfied, the expression of someone who got exactly what they were waiting for. What a pity, she said, examining her nails. Poor Greg will be so upset. He already knows, Marina whispered. I called him. Of course he knows. But it's one thing to know, and another to realize. You do understand what this means, right? What does it mean? Evelyn leaned closer. Her perfume, heavy, sweet, hit Marina's nose. It means you can't give my son what he needs. An heir, someone to carry on the family line. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe you two shouldn't be together. Marina felt something snap inside her. Not because of Evelyn's words, she was used to her venom. But because she finally understood, this woman was genuinely glad about her grief. Glad she had lost her baby. Leave, Marina said. Her voice was hoarse but firm. What? Leave. Now. How dare you? Out. Marina pushed herself up on the bed despite the pain and weakness. Get out. And if you ever repeat a single word of what you just said to Greg, I'll tell him everything. Everything you've told me over the years. Every insult, every nasty little jab. Evelyn turned pale. She stood, straightened her jacket, and walked out. But before leaving, she looked back and hissed, "You'll regret this." Marina didn't tell Greg anything. Not because she was scared, but because she didn't want to add to his pain. He was devastated by the loss of their child as it was. But something inside her changed that day. She stopped holding back. The next time Evelyn showed up unannounced, Marina met her at the door. "Good afternoon. Next time, call first." "I have keys," the mother-in-law answered boldly. "Had. I'm going to ask Greg to take them back." "Try." Marina tried. And to her surprise, Greg agreed. After a long conversation, after tears and explanations, but he agreed. He took the keys from his mother. The scandal was enormous. Evelyn cried, screamed, accused Marina of every sin imaginable, but the keys were gone. It was Marina's first serious victory. And she realized, if you stand your ground, you can achieve results. But the mother-in-law had no intention of giving up. She simply changed tactics. Instead of open attacks, subtle hints. Instead of harsh insults, sympathetic sighs. "Oh, Greg, you're so tired. Marina is overworking you with her complaints. Sweetheart, I heard you two are having money problems. Maybe Marina should find a better job. Or quit and focus on the home like a proper wife." Drip by drip, she wore their marriage down. In the third year, Marina enrolled in an evening economics program. She studied nights and weekends while working full-time. It was hard, but she managed. When Evelyn learned about it, she sneered. "Why do you need an education? You should have had a baby instead." "We'll have a baby when we're ready," Marina replied calmly. "An education is important for my career." "A career? For a woman? How selfish." "It's called common sense." In the fourth year of marriage, Marina graduated with honors and got a job as a financial analyst at a large company. Her salary doubled. She was proud of herself. Greg? Greg reacted strangely. He didn't congratulate her, didn't smile, he simply said, "Mom thinks a woman shouldn't earn more than her husband." "Your mom thinks a lot of things," Marina answered. "But we live our own life, not hers." "I know, it's just..." "What?" "Nothing, forget it." But she couldn't forget. Every year Greg became more and more like his mother. The same tone, the same phrases, the same looks. Evelyn was slowly reshaping him in her image. In the fifth year, Greg's stepfather, the man who had raised him since he was 5, died. Evelyn was widowed and became unbearable. She demanded constant attention, took offense at everything, manipulated him with guilt. "I'm alone now," she sobbed on the phone. "Completely alone. Even my own son abandoned me." "Mom, I didn't abandon you. I have a family." "Family? That woman is not family. She's using you." Marina overheard these conversations and clenched her teeth, but stayed silent. For Greg's sake. In the 6th year, Evelyn tried to move in with them. "Just temporarily. Until I recover from my grief." "Absolutely not," Marina said firmly. "But she's my mother. Greg, if she moves in, I move out." "You're threatening me?" "I'm telling you the truth. I won't live under the same roof with your mother. It's not negotiable." Greg chose his wife. With difficulty, through arguments and tears, but he chose her. Evelyn stayed in her own apartment. Another victory. But the war continued. In the 7th year, Evelyn launched a new campaign. She hinted that Greg needed a proper wife, domestic, obedient. That Marina worked too much, cleaned too little, was too independent. "She doesn't love you, sweetheart. She uses you for money and status." "Mom, that's not true." "It is true, Greg. You just don't want to see it." Greg told Marina about this conversation not to complain, but out of honesty. Marina took it as a warning. "She's telling you to find another woman," she said. "And you just listen to that?" "I told her no." "But you didn't tell her to stop. You didn't demand she stay out of our marriage. Marina, she's my mother. Greg. She stepped close to him. I'm your wife. 7 years. 7 years I've tolerated her insults, her hints, her attempts to destroy our relationship. I'm not asking you to cut her out of your life. I'm asking you to protect me. To stand up for me at least once. I'll talk to her. You've talked to her 100 times. Nothing changes. So what do you suggest? Set boundaries. Clear, firm ones. And if she crosses them, limit contact. Limit contact with my own mother? Yes. Until she learns to respect our family. That's impossible. Then our future is impossible too. It was an ultimatum. Marina knew the risk, but saw no other way. Greg chose a compromise. He talked to Evelyn, said he wouldn't tolerate insults toward his wife anymore. Evelyn quieted down. Briefly. But Marina knew this was the calm before the storm. The mother-in-law was planning something. Something big. Something meant to remove unwanted Marina once and for all. And now, in their 8th year of marriage, they were going to Marina's parents for her father's birthday. 60th, a serious milestone. Her parents would be happy to see their daughter with her husband. But Evelyn was coming too. Greg insisted. She wants to get to know your parents better, he said. Better? They met at the wedding. Your mother was wearing black. That was 8 years ago. People change. Your mother doesn't change. And never will. But Marina couldn't refuse. It would look strange, a family birthday, a celebration. Why shouldn't the mother-in-law come? She didn't know this trip would be a turning point, that everything would soon flip upside down, that she would finally see the true face of the man she'd lived with for 8 years. For now. She was just packing her suitcase, thinking how strange life is. Sometimes it takes years to see the obvious. And sometimes just a moment, one glance, one action. Her moment of truth was still ahead. Marina arrived in Springfield 2 days before the celebration. She wanted to help her parents prepare and simply spend time alone with them without Greg and his mother. The house greeted her with familiar scents. Her mom's baking, her dad's tobacco, the geraniums on the windowsills. Everything was as it had been in her childhood. The same floral wallpaper, the same ruffled curtains, the same creaky hallway floor. Sweetheart, her mom ran out onto the porch, wiping her hands on her apron. Finally. She smelled like vanilla and cinnamon. She must have been baking something. How was the drive? Tired? Hungry? Mom, I'm fine. The road was good. Her father came out. Robert had aged a lot in the past year, thin, pale, more gray hair. But his eyes were still bright and warm. Marina. He hugged her tightly. My beautiful girl, I'm so happy to see you. Happy early birthday, Dad. Thank you, sweetheart. Come in, come in. Your mother turned the whole house into a bakery. During dinner, her parents asked about her work, her plans, her life. Marina answered, avoiding the painful topics. No mention of Greg. No mention of Evelyn. But her father, as always, saw right through her. You're not yourself, he said when her mom went to the kitchen for tea. Trouble? No, Dad, everything's fine. Don't lie to me. I can see it. Marina sighed. Hiding anything from him was useless. My mother-in-law is coming. With Greg. I know your mother told me. And? Nothing. I just don't want her ruining your birthday. Ruin? Her father chuckled. Sweetheart, I'm 60. I've seen all sorts of people. One fancy city lady won't scare me. Dad, she's not just a lady. She. Marina hesitated, searching for the words. She hates me. From day one. And she does everything she can to make Greg leave me. Her father's face darkened. I know. I remember her at your wedding. Black dress, funeral expression. I understood right away what kind of person she was. And why didn't you say anything? What could I say? You loved Greg. You were happy. I didn't want to ruin that. Maybe you should have. He shook his head. No, sweetheart. Everyone has to earn their own scars. I could have warned you, but the choice would have still been yours. I don't know what to do anymore. 8 years, Dad. 8 years of trying to coexist with that woman. And every time she finds a new way to hurt me. And Greg? What about him? Greg. Marina exhaled. He's caught between us. He loves his mother, he loves me. He doesn't want to choose. But sooner or later, he'll have to. I know. And I'm afraid he'll choose her. Her father placed his large, warm, calloused hand over hers. Marina, listen to me. You're my daughter. Strong, smart, beautiful. You deserve a man who will love you and defend you. If Greg can't do that, then he's not your man. But I love him. Love is good. But love shouldn't be suffering. If you suffer with someone, that's not love, it's habit. Or fear. Fear? Fear of being alone. Fear of admitting you're wrong. Fear of starting over. Marina stayed silent. Everything he said was true, painfully true. I'm not telling you to divorce him, he continued. I'm telling you to value yourself. Don't let anyone, not your mother-in-law, not your husband, degrade you. You deserve better. Thank you, Dad. And remember, no matter what happens, your mother and I are always on your side. Always. Her mom returned with the teapot. The conversation shifted. But her father's words stayed in her mind. Value yourself. Don't let anyone degrade you. You deserve better. Maybe it was finally time to stop enduring and start acting. The next 2 days passed in a blur. Marina helped her mom prepare, chopping vegetables, setting the table, organizing everything. Her father worked in the garage, getting the grill ready. A typical pre-celebration bustle. Greg and Evelyn were due Saturday at noon. Marina waited for that moment with dread. Saturday came. Around 1 o'clock, a familiar car pulled into the yard. Greg got out first, smiling, tan after a recent vacation. Then Evelyn. She looked strange. No, everything outwardly was perfect, expensive dress, pearls, flawless makeup. But something in her face was off. A gleam in her eyes. Anticipation? Hello, she sang, spreading her arms. I'm so happy to see you. She hugged her mother, then her father, then Marina. The hugs were brief, formal, but her voice was sugary, almost sincere. What a lovely home, she exclaimed, looking around. So cozy, just like a country cottage. A country cottage. Marina clenched her jaw. To Evelyn, their family home was nothing more than a rustic cabin. Nothing more. Please, come in, her mother fussed. Lunch is ready. At the table, the mother-in-law behaved flawlessly. Praised the food. Asked her father about his work. Admired the garden. The perfect guest. Too perfect. Marina watched her and couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. Evelyn had never been this sweet. Never smiled this widely. Never gave so many compliments. She was planning something. Definitely. After lunch, the men went outside to smoke and look at the grill. Her mother was clearing the dishes. Marina wanted to help, but Evelyn held her by the hand. Marina, let's talk. Alone. Here it was. It was beginning. About what? About your future with Greg. They stepped out onto the veranda. Evening was settling in, the air smelled of autumn and damp leaves. Beautiful. But Marina wasn't in the mood for beauty. I'm listening. Evelyn sat down in a wicker chair and crossed her legs. The posture of a hostess, not a guest. I'll be honest, she began. I don't like your relationship with Greg. That's not news. Don't interrupt. There was steel in her voice now. You've been married 8 years. No children. Greg is unhappy. And why do you think that? He tells me. Every time we talk on the phone. He says you've grown distant. That all you think about is your career. That there's no closeness left between you. Marina clenched her fists. Greg discussed their marriage with his mother. Shared intimate details. Our relationship is none of your business. My son is my business. Always has been, always will be. Your son is 38. He's an adult. He's my child. And I want the best for him. The best meaning what? Some obedient homemaker who'll pop out kids and cook dinner? Evelyn smiled. Cold, calculated. Maybe. Or maybe you if you change. I'm not going to change. I'm me. And if Greg doesn't like that, then what? Marina stopped mid-sentence. She didn't know what to say next. You see, the mother-in-law said with satisfaction. You're not even confident in your own marriage. I'm only trying to help. Help? Marina let out a short laugh. You? Help me? Help you and Greg. Help you separate without unnecessary pain. Before things get worse. Separate? Divorce. Peacefully, civilly. Split the assets and move on. You'll get the apartment, the car, anything you want. Greg won't be stingy. Marina stared at her in disbelief. This woman had come here to offer her a divorce? At her father's birthday celebration? You're out of your mind, she said slowly. No, dear, I'm perfectly sane. And I want my son to be happy. He's miserable with you. So we must fix that. And Greg? Does he know about your little offer? Evelyn hesitated. Just for a second, but Marina saw it. We discussed the situation. So he doesn't know. He'll understand when the time comes. Marina stood up. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. Evelyn, I've heard enough. I don't know what you're planning, but here's my warning, I'm not a pushover. Never have been, never will be. And if you think you can get rid of me this easily, you're making a huge mistake. The mother-in-law looked up at her. No anger in her eyes, only cold calculation. We'll see, she said quietly. We'll see, Marina. Marina turned and went back inside the house. Her heart was pounding violently. Something was going to happen, something bad. She could feel it. That evening, long after everyone had gone to bed, Marina lay awake. Evelyn's words echoed in her mind. We'll see. What was she planning? What was her strategy? Around midnight, Marina heard voices behind the wall. Greg and his mother were talking. Softly. Almost whispering. She tiptoed to the door and pressed her ear against it. It's all ready, Evelyn said. Tomorrow at dinner. Mom, I'm not sure. Don't be weak, Greg. We discussed this. There's no other way. But what if she finds out? She won't. Everything will go smoothly. Trust me. Marina jerked back from the door. Her heart dropped into her stomach. It's all ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There's no other way. They were planning something. Both of them. Greg and his mother. Something meant to happen tomorrow. Something bad. Marina returned to bed but never slept. She lay awake until dawn, eyes open, thinking. Tomorrow was her father's birthday. A festive dinner. And during that dinner, something was supposed to happen, something that would change everything. She didn't know what it was, but she was ready. She wasn't a pushover. Never had been, never would be. And if someone thought they could break her, they were terribly mistaken. Sunday morning began with the smell of fresh pastry. Her mother had woken before sunrise and was already bustling around the kitchen. Baking pies, preparing salads, setting the festive table. A husband's milestone birthday was no small thing. Marina had barely slept. All night long, those whispered words replayed in her head, it's all ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There's no other way. What were they planning? What was supposed to happen today? She came downstairs around 8. Her mother had rolled out dough and was shaping a cabbage pie. Good morning, sweetheart. Did you sleep well? More or less, Marina lied. Let me help. Yes, please. The potatoes need peeling and the carrots grated. There'll be a lot of guests, so much to do. They worked quietly, side by side. Her mother hummed softly. Marina peeled vegetables mechanically, thinking about one thing: she needed to stay alert. Watch every move Evelyn made. Not let her out of sight. Around 9, her father poked his head into the kitchen. "Good morning, my ladies. What smells so good?" "Pies, darling. Cabbage and apple. Diane, you're my treasure." He kissed his wife on the cheek and winked at Marina. She smiled back, but the smile felt tight. "What's wrong, Marina?" her father asked. "You look troubled." "Everything's fine, Dad. Just tired." "Uh-huh. And I suppose that has nothing to do with our fancy guests from the city?" Marina said nothing. As always, her father saw straight through her. "All right, I won't bother you. I'll go check the grill. By lunchtime it'll be perfect." He went outside. Her mother sighed. "Marina, I can see something's wrong. Want to talk?" "Mom, everything's fine, really." "It's because of Greg's mother, isn't it? She was acting strange last night. Too polite. I don't trust that kind of politeness." "I don't trust it either." Her mother set aside the rolling pin and turned to her. "Marina, I know she doesn't like you. I know how she treats you. Your father told me what you said." "Dad told you?" "We've been married 35 years. We don't keep secrets." Marina lowered her eyes. She didn't want to burden her mother on a special day. "Mom, let's not talk about it today. Today is Dad's day. I don't want to ruin it." "All right, sweetheart. But know this: if that woman says even one word against you, I won't stay silent. I don't care what she thinks of me." "Thank you, Mom." They hugged, brief, warm. "Okay, back to work. The guests will be here by 2, and we still have so much to do." Around 10, Evelyn appeared in the kitchen. Already fully dressed, hairstyled, makeup done, wearing a festive dress. "Good morning," she sang sweetly. "How can I help?" Marina and her mother exchanged a glance. "Thank you, Evelyn, we're fine," her mother said. "Oh, nonsense. I didn't come here just to sit around. I want to be useful." She looked around the kitchen with a critical eye and wrinkled her nose. "It's a bit cramped here, of course. In my kitchen you can really spread out, but this will do." "My kitchen." Marina clenched her jaw. Even offering help, the woman couldn't resist a jab. "Maybe you'd like to relax outside," her mother suggested. "It's nice out." No, I want to help." Evelyn grabbed a knife and reached for the tomatoes. "Let me chop the salad." "The salad is done." Then she looked around. "Oh, juice. You'll have juice on the table, right? Let me pour it into pitchers." "The juice is in the cellar," her mother said. "Apple, homemade. 3 jars." "Wonderful, I'll bring it." Evelyn slipped out of the kitchen looking pleased with herself. Marina watched her go. "She's acting strange today," her mother muttered. "Nervous, fidgety." "Yeah." Marina didn't say what she suspected. But she decided one thing: she would personally keep an eye on that juice. 5 minutes later, Evelyn returned with 2 jars of apple juice. "I couldn't find the third," she said. "It must have rolled somewhere." "That's fine, 2 is enough," her mother replied. Evelyn set the jars on the table and began opening them. Her hands trembled slightly. From nerves? From anticipation? Marina watched every movement. "Do you have pretty pictures?" Evelyn asked. "We can't pour it straight from jars." "Yes, in the china cabinet." "Crystal, from my mother." "Oh, crystal. Lovely." She brought out 2 tall crystal pitchers and began pouring. Her movements were careful, overly careful. Marina watched without blinking but saw nothing suspicious. Evelyn simply poured the juice, covered the pitchers, and put them in the fridge. "All done," she announced with a smile. "Anything else?" "No, thank you. Go rest." Evelyn shrugged and left. Marina exhaled. Maybe she was overreacting. Maybe that whispered conversation had been about something else. But her instinct screamed, no, something was off. By noon, the house was full of noise. Guests had arrived. The Johnsons from next door with homemade wine, Aunt Claire with a cake, Uncle Michael and his wife Rachel, her father's co-workers. A small group, maybe 15 people. Her father didn't like big crowds. Greg helped arrange chairs and set tables. He was strangely quiet, avoiding Marina's eyes. Is everything okay? She asked when she caught him in the hallway. Yeah, sure. Just tired from the drive. Greg, can we talk? Later, okay? I'm busy. He walked off, leaving her in the hallway alone. Marina watched him go and felt something had broken between them. Maybe long ago. Maybe she was only noticing now. By 2 o'clock, the table was set. White tablecloth, holiday dishes, a bouquet of dahlias in the center. Her mother had outdone herself. Salads, appetizers, hot dishes, pies, everything her father loved. The guests sat, the toasts began. To the birthday man, Uncle Michael declared. To Robert, may he live another 100 years. Thank you, Mike. 100 is too much, but maybe 20 I can manage. Laughter, clinking glasses, festive chatter. Marina sat beside Greg. Across from her, Evelyn. The mother-in-law was radiant, laughing, joking, raising glasses. The perfect guest. Too perfect. After the main course, her mother suggested a break. Let's rest a little. We'll cut the cake soon. Guests got up from the table. Some went outside to smoke, others to walk around the garden. Aunt Claire went to help in the kitchen. Marina stayed at the table. She needed time to think. Several hours had passed, and nothing had happened. Maybe she was wrong? Maybe that late-night conversation had been about something completely different. Marina, her mother-in-law's voice sounded behind her. Can you help me? Evelyn stood by the china cabinet with a tray in her hands. With what? We need to serve the juice to the guests. Your mother has only 2 pitchers. It's inconvenient. Let's pour it into glasses and set them out. All right. Marina stood up and walked to the cabinet. Evelyn was already taking out glasses, simple, identical, 6 of them. Get the pitcher from the fridge, Evelyn ordered. I'll wipe the glasses. Marina went to the kitchen, opened the fridge, took out the pitcher of juice. When she returned, her mother-in-law had already lined up the glasses neatly on the tray. Go ahead, pour, she said. I'll carry it out. Marina began pouring the juice. Evelyn stood beside her, watching every movement. This one is for me, Evelyn suddenly said, pointing to the one on the far left. Fill it less, I'm on a diet. All right. And this one, she tapped the glass on the right, is for you. Fill it up, you love your mother's juice. How did she know? Marina had never told her that. How would you know? She asked. You loved apple juice as a kid. Marina said nothing and filled the indicated glass to the brim. Good girl, Evelyn smiled. Now the rest. Once all the glasses were filled, Evelyn picked up the tray. I'll take these out. You meanwhile. She looked around. Oh, we forgot the napkins. Bring the napkins from the kitchen. They're already on the table. No, those are paper ones. We need the cloth ones, the nice ones. Your mother said they're in the dresser. Marina hesitated. She didn't want to leave. Not now. Well? What are you waiting for? Evelyn hurried her. Go on, go, I'll start setting these out. There was nothing to do but comply. Marina went to the bedroom to get the napkins. She opened the top drawer, empty. The middle one, linens. The bottom one, yes, the napkins. White, linen, embroidered. She grabbed the stack and returned to the living room. Evelyn had already arranged the glasses on the table. One for each guest, perfectly even. Marina's glass stood in her spot full, exactly as she'd poured it. Good girl, Evelyn praised. Put the napkins down and sit. The guests will be back soon. Marina put the napkins on the table and sat. She picked up her glass, brought it to her lips. And froze. Something was wrong. She looked at the glass. Normal glass, normal juice, nothing outwardly suspicious, but... She remembered, when she had poured the juice earlier, her own glass had a tiny scratch on the bottom. She had noticed it briefly when setting it down. The scratch was gone. This wasn't the same glass. Her heart jolted. Marina slowly set the glass back on the table. Evelyn had switched the glasses. While she was gone for the napkins, she switched them. Why? The answer was obvious. Something was in that juice. Something not in the others. Marina glanced sideways at her mother-in-law. Evelyn sat across from her, watching her with barely concealed anticipation. A faint smile tugged at her lips. Waiting. Waiting for her to drink. Guests began returning. Sitting. Taking their glasses. Complimenting the juice. Delicious, Aunt Claire said. Diane, did you make it yourself? Yes, Claire. From our own apples. I need the recipe. Marina still didn't drink. She sat holding her glass, thinking furiously. What was in the juice? Poison? No, too extreme. A sedative? Why? A laxative? Yes. A laxative made perfect sense. Ideal for Evelyn's plan, to humiliate her daughter-in-law at her own father's party, in front of relatives and neighbors. A little accident, after which Marina would never want to show her face here again. That must have been what she'd meant in that whispered conversation last night. Marina looked at Evelyn. The older woman was still smiling, but there was impatience now. Drink. Drink. Marina smiled back. Calm, confident. And she made her decision. Oh gosh, it's so stuffy in here, she exclaimed dramatically. Can we open a window? Of course, sweetheart. Her mother stood and went to open it. Others followed. Uncle Michael wanted to see the rose garden. Aunt Claire wanted a photo of the dahlias. The Johnsons stepped outside to smoke. Within a minute, only 3 people remained in the room: Marina, Greg, and Evelyn. Her mother-in-law didn't move. She sat still, watching Marina intently. Is something wrong with the juice? She asked sweetly. You're not drinking. I'm just waiting for everyone to return. I want to toast my dad. What a thoughtful daughter. There was mockery in her voice. She was relishing every second. Greg sat beside Marina, staring at his phone, pretending none of this had to do with him. Greg, Evelyn said suddenly. Come here, sweetheart. Help me stand. My legs fell asleep. Greg reluctantly stood up and walked to her. She leaned on his arm and slowly, dramatically, rose with exaggerated size. Marina used the moment. One swift movement and the glasses switched. Her glass now stood in front of Greg. His stood before her. Identical glasses. No one would notice. Oh, thank you, sweetheart, Evelyn said, settling back into her chair. I'm falling apart today. She glanced at the table. The glasses were where she thought they should be. Marina picked up her new glass and took a sip. The juice was delicious, clean, untouched. Wonderful, she said, looking straight into Evelyn's eyes. Mom's juice is the best. Evelyn beamed. Drink up, dear, it's good for you. Guests returned and took their seats. Greg automatically picked up his glass, the one now meant for Marina, and took a big swallow. Excellent juice, Diane, he said. You're amazing. Thank you, Greg, her mother said, blushing. Evelyn stared at Marina, waiting. Waiting for the effect. 5 minutes, Marina counted silently. If it was a laxative, it would hit fast. 5 to 10 minutes. Her father raised his glass. Friends, thank you for coming. This means a lot to me. To all of you, to my loved ones, to my family. To you, Robert, the guests cheered. Clinking glasses, laughter, cheers. Marina smiled politely, but her eyes stayed on Greg. 3 minutes passed. Greg looked fine. Eating salad, chatting with a neighbor, laughing. 5 minutes. Marina noticed it, he paled. He set his fork down, wiped his forehead. It's hot, he muttered. Should we open another window? Her mother asked. No, I'll be right back. He got up quickly and rushed toward the bathroom. Evelyn frowned, looked at Marina, who calmly ate her salad, then at Greg's empty seat, then back at Marina. What's wrong with Greg? She asked. No idea. Maybe the heat? A door slammed down the hall. Then silence. 1 minute. 2. 3. Greg didn't return. Evelyn fidgeted. I'll go check, she said and stood. Marina watched her go. The mother-in-law hurried into the hallway and disappeared around the corner. A moment later came her shriek. Greg! Honey, what's wrong? The guests fell silent, looked at each other. What happened? Her father asked. No idea, Marina said, standing up. Maybe he's sick? She walked into the hall. Others followed. Evelyn stood outside the bathroom door, knocking frantically. Greg! Open up! What's happening? Sounds came from inside. Very familiar sounds. Mom, go away, Greg groaned. I feel awful. What do you mean awful? Where does it hurt? Open the door. I can't. My stomach. Evelyn turned chalk white. She looked at Marina, eyes wide. You, she whispered. You. What about me? Marina asked calmly. The mother-in-law opened her mouth, but no words came. She understood. She understood exactly what had happened. Should we call a doctor? Marina's mother asked, walking up. Maybe it's poisoning? No, Evelyn snapped. No, doctor. It's just an upset stomach. It happens. But if he's that sick, it'll pass. It'll all pass. She rushed back to the door. Greg, sweetheart, hold on. It'll be over soon. Mom. Greg whimpered. It hurts. I know, honey, I know. Just hold on. Marina stood watching. Inside, she felt nothing. No joy. No triumph. Only exhaustion. Here it was the moment of truth. The truth about the man she'd married. Greg knew. Knew about his mother's plan and did nothing. Didn't warn her. Didn't stop it. Let his own mother slip a laxative into his wife's drink. 8 years. 8 years she tried to save this marriage. Endured humiliation. Sought compromise. Hoped for better. And he had always been on his mother's side. Maybe the guests should have some tea while we sort this out, her father suggested gently. It's awkward. Yes, her mother fussed. Let's go, I'll cut the cake. The guests gratefully returned to the dining room. No one understood what was happening, but everyone felt the discomfort. Marina stayed in the hall. So did Evelyn, guarding the bathroom door. You did this. Evelyn hissed when they were alone. You switched the glasses. What glasses? Marina asked innocently. Don't pretend. I saw you. What exactly did you see? Evelyn choked on her own anger. You intentionally what? Gave my husband a laxative? Why on earth would I do that? The mother-in-law opened her mouth, then closed it. Trapped. If she told the truth, she would expose herself. If she stayed silent, it would look like Greg got sick on his own. Exactly, Marina said, smiling. I have no idea what happened to Greg. Must have eaten something bad. You'll pay for this, Evelyn spat. I'll never forgive you. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. Marina stepped closer, so close she could see every line on the older woman's perfectly powdered face. Evelyn, she said quietly, firmly, for 8 years I tolerated you. I tried to reason with you. I tried to coexist with you. But everything has a limit. What are you talking about? I know you put something in my juice. I know Greg knew. And I know you planned it together. Her mother-in-law turned pale. That's not true. It is true. I heard your conversation last night. Everything is ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There's no other way. Remember? Evelyn stayed silent. Her lips trembled. You wanted to humiliate me in front of my parents, Marina continued. Crush me, disgrace me, make sure I'd never want to come here again, so Greg would divorce me and crawl back to mommy. You don't interrupt. I'm not finished. Marina took a deep breath. Starting today, we're done. I will not communicate with you. No calls, no visits, nothing. You no longer exist to me. You wouldn't dare. Greg won't allow it. Greg is currently sitting in the bathroom thanks to your laxative. I think he'll have plenty of time to think about his choices. Another groan came from behind the door. Evelyn lunged toward her son. Greg. Mom, not now, he groaned. Marina turned and walked back to the living room. Behind her, Evelyn's wails echoed through the hallway, but she didn't look back. Enough. 8 years was enough. She wasn't a pushover. Never had been, never would be. In the living room, the guests were drinking tea and eating cake. Conversations were quiet. Everyone sensed that something had happened but didn't know what. Marina, how's Greg? Her mother asked. He's unwell. Stomach trouble. Poor thing. Should we give him something? It'll pass on its own. Marina sat down and took a slice of cake. It was delicious chocolate with creamy roses, her mom's signature recipe. How are you? Her father asked quietly, leaning closer. I'm fine, Dad. Are you sure? Marina met his eyes. I'm sure. Actually, I feel good. Her father nodded. He understood in his own fatherly way. If you need anything, your mother and I are here. I know, Dad. Thank you. Greg appeared half an hour later. Pale, drained, hair damp, he must have washed his face. Evelyn trailed behind him, supporting his elbow. Greg, maybe you should lie down, she fussed. No, Mom. I'm fine. He sat down, avoiding Marina's eyes. Took a glass of water, drank. How do you feel? Her mother asked kindly. Better? Yes, thank you. Sorry for ruining the celebration. You didn't ruin anything, these things happen. Evelyn sat down as well. Her face was stone. The celebration continued, but the atmosphere had changed. Something heavy lingered in the air. The guests felt it and began leaving earlier than planned. By 6, everyone was gone. Only family remained, her parents, Marina, Greg, and Evelyn. Can you help me clear the table? Her mother asked Marina. Of course. They headed to the kitchen. Evelyn followed, but her mother stopped her. You relax. Marina and I have it covered. But I want to help. No need. You're a guest. Her mother's voice was cold. Clearly, she had sensed something as well. In the kitchen, Marina washed dishes in silence. Her mother packed leftovers into containers. Marina, she finally said. What happened? Nothing much, Mom. Don't lie to me. I can see something happened. You're not yourself. Marina sighed. She didn't want to lie, but telling the truth wasn't easy either. Mom. I think I made a decision. What decision? I'm not going to talk to Evelyn anymore. At all. Her mother froze with a container in her hands. What did she do? Mom, I don't want to get into it. Not today. Marina. I'll tell you later. I promise. Her mother studied her for a long moment, then nodded. All right. But remember, I'm on your side, no matter what. I know, Mom. Thank you. They finished cleaning in silence. When they returned to the living room, everything was quiet. Her father sat reading a newspaper. Greg sat on the couch with his phone. Evelyn sat across from him, stiff-backed, lips pressed tight. We're leaving, Marina announced. We have an early morning tomorrow. Already, her mother asked sadly. Won't you stay the night? No, Mom. I need to get back to Chicago. Greg looked up. I thought we'd go tomorrow. You can stay. I'm going tonight. Alone? Yes. Silence filled the room. Everyone sensed that those simple words carried much deeper meaning. "Marina, are you sure?" her father asked gently. "I'm sure, Dad." Evelyn opened her mouth to say something, but Marina cut her off. "Goodbye, Evelyn. Don't walk me out." She turned and left the room. Voices rose behind her of her mother, her father, Greg, but she didn't turn back. Marina packed in 5 minutes. Her suitcase was small, she had only planned a short visit. Her father was waiting in the doorway. "Sweetheart, will you tell me what happened?" "Later, Dad. I promise." "Are you getting a divorce?" Marina paused. "I don't know yet. But something changed. Forever." Her father hugged her tightly. Solid, protective, a real father's embrace. "Whatever you decide, your mother and I will support you. Remember that." "I know, Dad." "Thank you." Marina got into the car and started the engine. In the rearview mirror, she saw her parents standing on the porch, waving. She waved back, then drove away. The drive to Chicago took 3 hours. The whole time she thought about 8 years of marriage, about all the hopes that never came true, about love that had turned into habit, about the man who had betrayed her for his mother. She didn't cry. There were no tears. Only exhaustion and a strange sense of relief. As if a weight had finally fallen from her shoulders. Around 10 in the evening, she got home. The empty apartment greeted her with silence. Marina unpacked, took a shower, got into bed. But she couldn't sleep. Her phone buzzed. A message from Greg. "We need to talk." Marina stared at the screen for a long time. Then typed a reply, "Tomorrow. Not tonight." She turned off the phone. She dreamt a strange dream that night. She stood on the edge of a cliff, looking down into swirling fog. Someone behind her called her name, but she didn't turn. Then she jumped. Not down, forward. And discovered she could fly. She woke with the sunrise. A new day beginning outside her window. A new day of a new life. Greg arrived around noon. Marina was ready, composed, calm, prepared. "Hi," he said as he walked in. "Hi." They sat across from each other in the living room like strangers. "Marina, wait. I'll speak first." Greg fell silent. "I know your mother put a laxative in my juice," Marina said in an even voice. "I know you knew. I know you planned it together." "Marina, that's not don't lie to me. I heard your conversation. Everything is ready. Tomorrow at dinner. There's no other way." Greg paled. "You were eavesdropping?" "I overheard by accident. But that doesn't matter. What matters is this she paused. "For 8 years, Greg, I tried to be a good wife. I endured your mother's humiliation, looked for compromises, hoped that someday you'd take my side. But you never did." "Marina, don't interrupt. 2 days ago, your mother tried to poison me. Not with something deadly, with a laxative. To humiliate me in front of my parents. At my father's birthday dinner. And you allowed it. I didn't know she you knew. You knew and said nothing. That's worse." Greg dropped his head. "Marina, forgive me, I didn't want what? You didn't want me to find out? You didn't want the plan to fail? I didn't want things to turn out this way. And how did you want them to turn out? For me to soil myself in front of guests? For me to be too ashamed to ever visit my parents again? For me to divorce you and make room for some obedient homemaker your mommy approves of?" Greg stayed silent. "Answer me." I don't know. Mom said it was the only way." "The only way for what?" "To save our family." Marina laughed, bitter, hollow. "Save the family? By humiliating me? Degrading me? Crushing me? That's what you call saving a family? Mom said you're too independent, that you need to be put in your place, that after this you'd become different." "Different? How? Broken? Submissive? Convenient? No, not like that exactly like that, Greg. Your mother wanted to break me. And you helped her. Greg lifted his head. Tears welled in his eyes. Marina, I love you. I really do. That is not love. A loving person doesn't betray. A loving person doesn't let his mother degrade his wife. A loving person doesn't participate in schemes against his own family. I was wrong. I see that now. Now? And before, you didn't? Greg said nothing. You know what hurts the most? Marina continued. Not the laxative. Not your mother's plan. Not even that you knew and kept quiet. What hurts the most is that you're still defending her. I'm not dash you are. Even now, you keep saying, Mom said, Mom thought, Mom wanted. As if she was the one making decisions and you were just following orders. But that's true. No, Greg. It's not. You're a grown man, 38 years old. You make your own choices. And yesterday you chose to betray me. Marina, please dash, I'm not finished. I've made a choice too. I'm done with your mother. No communication. No calls, no visits. She no longer exists in my life. That's impossible. It's possible. And it's not up for discussion. But she's my mother. And I'm your wife. 8 years, Greg. 8 years I've been second place to your mommy. Enough. She stood. You have a choice. Either you set boundaries with your mother and we try to save this marriage, or you keep being her puppet and we're done. Marina, is this an ultimatum? Yes. It's an ultimatum. I'm done with half measures and compromises. It's time to decide. Greg sat motionless. Confusion, fear, uncertainty crossed his face. I need time to think, he finally said. Think, but not for long. I'm out of patience. She headed for the door. Marina, wait. What? I really do love you. Marina turned. If you love me, prove it. Not with words, with actions. And she walked out of the room. The next 3 days passed in silence. Greg slept in the living room, Marina in the bedroom. They barely spoke. Evelyn called every day. Marina didn't pick up. Greg did, but kept the conversations short and clipped. Marina didn't ask what they discussed. On the 4th day, Greg approached her. I talked to my mom, he said. And? Told her she crossed the line, that things can't go on like this. And what did she say? She yelled, cried, blamed me. Said I'm a traitor and you brainwashed me. Predictable. But I didn't back down. I told her that if she doesn't change her attitude toward you, I'm going to cut contact. Marina looked at him. Are you serious? Serious. And how did she react? She hung up. She hasn't called since. Marina stayed silent. She didn't know what to say. Marina, Greg stepped closer. I know I messed up. I know I betrayed you. But I want to fix things. Give me a chance. A chance for what? To prove that I've changed. That I choose you. She looked at him. The man she had lived with for 8 years. Handsome, successful, intelligent, and so weak. Greg, one conversation isn't enough. You understand that? I do. Your mother will try to take control again. She'll manipulate, pressure, threaten you. Are you ready to stand up to that? I am. Really? Yes. I'm tired of being stuck between you two. Tired of being torn apart. I want a normal family. With you. Marina sighed. I don't know, Greg. Honestly, I don't. Trust doesn't come back in a day. I know. Give me time. Give us time. She looked at him for a long moment, thinking. All right, she said at last. But with conditions. What conditions? First, I don't communicate with your mother at all. If she comes over, I leave. Agreed. Second, you don't discuss our relationship with her. Nothing. Ever. Agreed. Third, if she ever tries anything like this again, we get divorced. No discussions. Greg nodded. Agreed. Then let's try. He hugged her gently, hesitantly. Thank you, he whispered. Thank you for giving me a chance. Marina didn't answer. She wasn't sure she was doing the right thing, but she decided to try. One thing she knew for certain, with Evelyn, it was over. Forever. She wasn't a pushover, and she'd never again allow anyone to treat her like one. A month passed. October came cold and rainy. Drops drummed steadily on the window, gray clouds covered the sky, and it felt as if the sun had forgotten the way to Chicago. Marina sat in the kitchen with a cup of cooling tea, watching the rain. Her thoughts drifted slowly, like the water running down the glass. A month. A whole month of trying to live differently. Without Evelyn in her life, without her calls and visits and poisonous remarks. And you know what? It was easier than she expected. Her mother-in-law really had disappeared. No calls, no messages, no surprise visits. Offended? Lying low? Planning something new? Marina didn't know and honestly didn't care. Greg kept his word. He spoke to his mother rarely and briefly. Didn't discuss their marriage with her. Came home on time. Tried to be present. But something still wasn't right. Marina felt it every day, in his eyes, in his silence, in the way he looked away when she walked into the room. Greg was there, yet not there. Physically present, mentally distant. She tried talking to him. Several times. Greg, what's going on? Nothing. Everything's fine. You seem distant. Just tired from work. Are you sure? Sure. But Marina knew it wasn't fatigue. It was something else. Something he didn't want to discuss. One evening she accidentally saw his phone. He'd left it in the kitchen when he went to shower. The screen lit up incoming message. Mom. Marina didn't read it. She turned away and washed dishes instead. But something stung her chest. He's still talking to her. Despite everything. Despite promises. Despite the past month. When Greg returned, she asked, "Your mom texted?" He flinched. Quickly grabbed the phone and stuck it in his pocket. "Yeah. Just asking how I'm doing." "And what did you answer?" "That everything's fine." "And that's it?" "That's it." He was lying. Marina felt it, but didn't push. She waited. She didn't have to wait long. A week later Greg came home unusually late. He looked strange, disheveled, nervous, red blotches on his cheeks. "Where were you?" Marina asked. "At work." "Stayed late." "At 10 at night?" There was a deadline. He walked past her into the bedroom without kissing her, without hugging her. Like a stranger. Marina stood in the hallway, then followed him. "Greg, we need to talk." "Let's do it tomorrow, I'm tired." "No, now." He sat on the bed, taking off his shoes, eyes down. "About what?" "Us." "What's happening?" "Nothing is happening." "Something is." "You're lying to me." "Every day." Greg froze with a shoe in his hand. "Marina. You weren't at work." "I called the office." "You left at 6. He looked up, fear in his eyes, and something else. "Guilt?" "I was at my mom's." Marina felt something inside her snap. Not surprised, she suspected this. But hearing it confirmed was different. "At your mom's," she repeated. "After everything she did? After all your promises?" She called, crying, saying she was dying of loneliness, that I'm her only son, that she can't live when I ignore her. "And you believed her?" "She's my mother, Marina. I can't just dash what?" "Just what?" "Keep your word? Protect your family? Be a man?" Greg jumped up. "Don't start." "I'm not starting, I'm finishing." "What does that mean?" Marina looked at him, at the man she once loved. Handsome, successful, and so weak. So pathetic. "It means I'm tired, Greg. Tired of fighting for something you should be fighting for. Tired of being second place to your mother. You're not second place. I am." I've always been. And I always will be unless you cut the cord. Marina, that's unfair. Unfair? She laughed, sharp, humorless. Unfair is your mother putting laxatives in my juice. Unfair is my husband knowing and staying silent. Unfair is 8 years of humiliation and trying to save a marriage no one but me cared about. I care. I love you. Love isn't words, Greg. It's actions. And your actions say the opposite. She turned and walked out of the bedroom. Marina, wait. He caught up to her in the hallway, grabbed her arm. Please, let's talk. We already talked a month ago. You made promises, you broke them. I'll do better. No, Greg, you won't because you don't want to do better. You want things to be like before. Mom happy, wife compliant. But that's not how it works. What do you want from me? Nothing. Nothing anymore. She pulled her hand free and went to the kitchen. Took a suitcase from the cabinet, the one she had taken to her parents' house. What are you doing? Greg's voice shook. Packing. Where are you going? To my parents. For now. Marina, don't. I have to, Greg. I should have done it long ago. He stood in the doorway, watching as she packed. Pale. Lost. You're leaving? Yes. For good? I don't know. For now, yes. What about us? Marina paused. Looked at him. Us? Us is you, me, and your mother. 2 against 1. I'm done being the extra piece in this triangle. You're not extra. Greg, stop. Every word you say is empty. You say one thing, do another. I don't believe you anymore. She zipped the suitcase and put on her jacket. At least wait until morning, he pleaded. It's late. It's fine. I'll get there. Marina. What? He stared at her with a childlike desperation. I don't want to lose you. Then you shouldn't have betrayed me. She opened the door and walked out without looking back. The drive to Springfield took 4 hours. The highway at night was nearly empty, only occasional trucks sending showers of mist over her windshield. Marina drove and thought. 8 years. 8 years she'd built this marriage. Worked on it, endured, forgave, hoped. And now it collapsed. Not in a moment, no. It had been crumbling for years. Tonight was just the final crack. She didn't cry. Strangely, no tears came. Only emptiness. And once again, a strange relief. Her parents weren't surprised to see her. They opened the door, hugged her, led her inside. No questions, no judgment. Go to bed, sweetheart, her mother said softly. Morning is wiser than evening. Thank you, Mom. We're here. Always. Marina lay down in her old room, on her childhood bed. Nothing had changed, flowered wallpaper, ruffled curtains, the same plush bear on the shelf. She closed her eyes and fell asleep instantly. Morning brought a long conversation over breakfast. Marina told them everything. From the birthday dinner, to the juice, to the glasses, to the month of trying, to last night. Her mother listened silently, shaking her head now and then. Her father scowled, fists clenched. That bastard, he finally exploded when she finished. Both bastards, the mother and the son. Robert, watch your language, her mother chided. How can I not? 8 years of torture for our daughter. Dad, it's my own fault, Marina said quietly. I should have left earlier. You're not at fault. You loved, you wanted a family. That's normal. Normal is when they love you back. I was merely tolerated, at best. Mom took her hand. Marina, what are you going to do? I'll probably file for divorce. Are you sure? Yes. There's no point dragging it out. Greg won't change. He'll always choose his mother. And what if he comes to his senses? Marina shook her head. Mom, he's come to his senses 100 times already. And every time he ran right back to his mother. It's a closed loop. Her father stood up from the table. Sweetheart, whatever you decide, we'll support you. If you want to live here as long as you need. If you want, we'll help you get a place back in Chicago. The important thing is that you're happy. Thank you, Daddy. And if that. He held himself back. If Greg decides to show up here and start throwing his weight around, I'll talk to him. Man to man. Dad, don't. I will. It's long overdue. Marina smiled, for the first time in a long time, sincerely. I love you. Both of you. And we love you, sweetheart. Always. Greg called 3 days later. Marina stared at the screen for a long time before finally answering. Hello? Marina. How are you? Fine. You're at your parents'? Yes. Can we talk? Talk. A pause. He was clearly preparing for something else. I've done a lot of thinking. These past 3 days. Barely slept. And? You were right. About everything. I'm a mama's boy. A weakling. Not a real man. Marina said nothing. I called my mom, Greg continued. Told her we're getting divorced. You told her? Yes. And do you know what she said? What? That it was about time. That I don't deserve you. That now I'll finally be free. Marina let out a short, bitter laugh. Predictable. And you know what I did? What? I told her off. What? Told her off. For the first time in my life. I told her she destroyed my marriage. That because of her I lost the only woman I ever loved. That I don't want to see her anymore. Marina could hardly believe her ears. Are you serious? Serious. She, of course, had a meltdown. Screamed that I'm ungrateful, that she dedicated her whole life to me, that I'm killing her. But I didn't back down. For the first time, I didn't. Greg. Marina, I know it's too late. I know you don't trust me anymore, and you're right not to. But I want you to know, I understood. Truly understood. I don't know if it changes anything, but I had to say it. She listened to his voice, tired, broken, and didn't know what she felt. Relief? Sadness? Gratitude? Greg. I'm not coming back. I know. It's not because I didn't love you. I did. For a long time. But it burned out. Do you understand? I do. I need to live my life. Without you, without your mother. Just. Live. I understand. A pause. Thank you for telling me, Marina said quietly. About your mom. It matters. Yeah. Too bad it's too late. Too bad. Marina. I really did love you. I just didn't know how to show it. I know. Goodbye, Greg. Goodbye. She ended the call and sat there for a long time, holding the phone. Outside, the sun was shining for the first time in days. The divorce was finalized in 3 months. Quick and without drama. Greg didn't claim anything's left Marina the apartment and the car. She didn't ask for his money, took only what was hers. Evelyn never showed up. No calls, no letters. Apparently, she decided that her former daughter-in-law was no longer worth her attention. Good riddance. Marina stayed in Chicago. Her work, her friends, the city, all of it kept her there. But every weekend she drove to her parents. Helped her mom in the garden, listened to her dad's stories, breathed clean air. Her father recovered quickly after the birthday incident. He joked that the stress from handling the city viper only toughened him up. Her mom would shake her head but smile. Marina, have you thought about getting married again? She asked one day. Mom, I just got divorced. So what? You're young, you're beautiful, your whole life is ahead of you. Someday. Not now. Just don't close yourself off. Not all men are like Greg. I know, Mom. And she truly did know, she just wasn't ready. In the spring, Marina enrolled in Spanish classes. She'd wanted to learn for a long time and finally found the time. The lessons were in the evenings, in a small group. The teacher, a young guy named James, had just returned from Barcelona. "You have good pronunciation," he said after the first class. "Did you study before?" "No, I just like languages." "I can tell. If you want, I can give you extra materials. Movies, podcasts. I'd appreciate that." They started talking. At first about classwork, then just about life. Coffee after lessons, walks through evening Chicago, long conversations about everything. James was different, nothing like Greg. Open, cheerful, independent. Earned his own money, made his own decisions, lived his own life. His parents lived in Columbus. He visited them a couple times a year and didn't think it was a tragedy. "Don't you miss them?" Marina asked. "I do, but everyone has their own life. They understand that." "Lucky you." "Why?" "Not all parents understand." He didn't pry. Just nodded and changed the subject, and Marina appreciated that. By summer they were dating. Slowly, carefully. Marina didn't want to repeat old mistakes, and James didn't push. "I feel good with you," he said once. "That's all I need." "Me too." "Then let's just be together. No pressure, no plans. Just together. Deal." Her parents met James in July. He came to Springfield with Marina for her mom's birthday. Her father looked him up and down and grunted. "Well, at least he looks like a decent human. Not like the last one." "Dad." Marina protested. "What?" "I'm being honest." James laughed. "Robert, I'll do my best to live up to that." We'll see," her father muttered, but Marina could tell he liked him. Her mom too. "He's a good guy," she whispered to Marina in the kitchen. "Hold on to him." "Mom, we just started dating." "So what?" "I married your father after 3 months. And look, 36 years together. Times were different. Times change, people don't. When you meet your person, you feel it." Marina said nothing. She wasn't sure James was her person. But she felt good next to him, and for now, that was enough. In the fall, exactly 1 year after the disastrous birthday dinner, Marina visited her parents again. Alone, James was at a conference in Madrid. That evening the three of them sat on the porch drinking tea. September was warm, almost summery. "A whole year," her mom said thoughtfully. "How fast it went." "Oh yeah," her father nodded, "a lot has happened." Marina looked at her parents, older, grayer, but so dear, and felt warmth flood her chest. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" her mom asked. "For everything. For being there. For supporting me. For not judging. Sweetheart, we're family. How else would it be?" "You'd be surprised," Marina said quietly. "People are different." Her father covered her hand with his. "Marina, you're our pride. Always have been, always will be. Whatever happens, remember that." "I remember, Daddy." They sat in silence, watching the sunset, huge and red, slowly sinking behind the horizon, painting the sky in pink and orange. "It's beautiful," her mom whispered. "Yeah. It is." Marina thought about the past years, the pain, the disappointment, the loneliness. And everything she gained in return: freedom, peace, herself. She was no longer Greg's wife, no longer Evelyn's daughter-in-law, no longer part of someone else's story. She was just Marina, her parents' daughter, a woman who knew her worth. And that was the best thing that could have happened to her. The phone rang, startling her. Marina glanced at the screen. Unknown number. "Hello? Marina? This is Sandra, Evelyn's neighbor." Her heart skipped a beat. "What now?" "Speaking. I'm sorry to bother you, but Evelyn is in the hospital. A stroke. The doctors say it's bad." "And what does that have to do with me?" She asked. "She asked for you. Before she..." "Well, you understand." Marina stayed silent. "Hello? Are you there?" "I'm here." So will you come? Marina wanted to say no. Wanted to hang up and erase this call from her memory. This woman, her former mother-in-law, had done everything she could to ruin her life. Why should she go to her now? But something stopped her. What hospital? Northwestern Memorial. ICU. All right. I'll come. She ended the call and looked at her parents. They'd heard everything. You're going? Her father asked. Yes. Why? I don't know. Maybe to close the book. Her father snorted. Fancy words, but basically you're right. Go. Just don't let her hurt you again. I won't, Dad. I'm not the same person anymore. She reached the hospital 2 hours later. Northwestern Memorial's modern buildings, but still that smell of antiseptic and medicine. ICU on the 3rd floor. They didn't want to let her in, but she insisted. She asked for me. Tell the doctor. 10 minutes later they brought her into the room. Evelyn lay on the bed, hooked up to IVs and monitors. Thin, pale, hollow-cheeked. She looked like an old woman, though she was only 65. You came, Evelyn whispered when she saw her. Her voice was faint, barely audible. You came. Marina sat in the chair beside the bed. She looked at the woman who had poisoned 8 years of her life and felt nothing. No anger. No pity. Just emptiness. Why did you ask for me? Evelyn closed her eyes. Her lips trembled. I wanted to say. What? Sorry. Marina froze. What? Forgive me. For everything. Evelyn opened her eyes, they were full of tears. I was wrong. All this time. From the very beginning. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm dying. The doctors won't say it, but I know. I can feel it. Marina said nothing. I wanted what was best for Greg. I thought I was protecting him. From you, from everyone. But in reality, she started coughing. In reality, I ruined everything. His life. Yours. Mine. That's true. I know. I know that now. She reached out her hand thin, with veins showing through the skin. Forgive me, Marina. Please. Marina looked at that hand. The hand that had slipped laxatives into her juice. The hand that had pointed her to the door. The hand that had taken 8 years of her life. And she took it. I forgive you. Evelyn began to cry. Softly, silently. Tears streamed down her cheeks and vanished in her gray hair. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. I'm not doing this for you, Marina said. I'm doing it for myself. To let it go. I understand. And it doesn't mean I forgot. I didn't forget, and I won't. But hatred is too heavy a burden. I don't want to carry it anymore. Evelyn nodded. You're strong. You always were. I saw it. And I was afraid. Afraid? Afraid you'd take Greg away. That he'd love you more than he loved me. Silly, isn't it? Yes, silly. A son shouldn't have to choose between his mother and his wife. I know that now. Too late. Better late than never. Her mother-in-law gave a faint smile. You're not even angry now. There's no point being angry at someone who's dying. Thank you for the honesty. Marina stood up. I have to go. Wait. Evelyn squeezed her hand. Greg. How is he? I don't know. We don't talk. He's alone. Completely alone. I pushed him away after the divorce. Blamed him, screamed at him. He stopped calling. That's not my problem. I know. But maybe you could call him? Tell him I'm here? Marina hesitated. Please. Her voice was barely audible. My last request. All right. I'll call. She slipped her hand free and walked toward the door. Marina. She turned. Be happy. You deserve it. Marina nodded and walked out. In the hallway she leaned against the wall and closed her eyes. Her heart was pounding, her hands trembling. She had forgiven her. Truly forgiven her. Not for Evelyn's sake, for her own. To finally let go of the past and move on. She called Greg from the car. He picked up immediately, as if he'd been waiting. Marina? Hi. Your mom is in the hospital. Northwestern Memorial, ICU. Stroke. What? She asked for you. A pause. Long, heavy. Thank you for telling me. You're welcome. Marina. How are you? Good. Really? Really? Goodbye, Greg. Goodbye. She ended the call and started the engine. Ahead was the road home. Ahead was her life. Evelyn died a week later. Marina found out from Sandra, the same neighbor who had called the first time. She didn't go to the funeral. Not because she hadn't forgiven, she had. She simply didn't want to. That chapter wasn't hers anymore. Greg called after the funeral. Thanked her for warning him. Said he'd managed to say goodbye. That his mother died peacefully. She asked me to tell you something, he added. What? That you were right. About everything. Marina said nothing. And she also said I need to let you go. Truly let go. Not hold on in my mind, not hope. Just let go. Good advice. Yeah. For the first time in my life she gave me good advice. They fell silent. Be happy, Marina. And you, Greg. I'll try. The call ended. Marina looked at her phone and smiled. It was over. Finally over. 8 years of struggle, pain, disappointment. 8 years of trying to be someone she wasn't. 8 years beside a man who never learned to value her. Now it was done. A full stop. She dialed James. Hey. How's the conference? Great. I'm flying back tomorrow. Missed you. I missed you too. What are you doing? Watching the sunset. It's beautiful. Take a picture for me. I will. Marina. I love you. She smiled wide, genuine. I love you too. See you tomorrow? See you tomorrow. She ended the call and stepped onto the balcony. The sun was sinking behind the rooftops, turning the sky gold and purple. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Marina stood there, watching the sunset. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly free. Free from the past, from resentment, from other people's expectations. She wasn't someone who endured. She had never been someone who endured, and she hadn't become one. She fought. For herself, for her dignity, for her right to be happy. And she won.